Did you know that empathy and exploitation cannot coexist? And if you look at history, that's not a coincidence, because systems like slavery didn't just rely on force, they relied on disconnection, on seeing people as property, as labor, as less than human. And that requires something, the suppression of empathy. Because if you truly feel someone's humanity, it becomes a lot harder to justify their suffering. And that pattern didn't just disappear, it evolved in how labor is treated, in who gets overworked, underpaid, disposable, or ignored, and who's expected to tolerate more pain, more stress, more dehumanization. And disproportionately, that burden still falls on Black and brown communities. But look at our culture for a second. Why is it considered unprofessional to talk openly about emotions at work? Why are people taught to suppress vulnerability, to leave feelings at the door and prioritize productivity over humanity? Why do people get uncomfortable when someone cries at work, but not uncomfortable when someone's chronically overworked? That is not neutrality, that is conditioning. And now we're even seeing movements actively pushing against social emotional learning in schools because teaching kids emotional awareness, perspective taking, empathy for people different from them gets framed as dangerous. Why? Because empathy challenges hierarchy. Empathy makes it harder to dehumanize people, harder to justify inequality, harder to treat people like they don't matter. Oh, and by the way, the phrase toxic empathy completely misunderstands the problem. Empathy is not exploitation. Lack of boundaries is exploitation. Manipulation is exploitation. And using someone's compassion against them is exploitation. Because genuine empathy recognizes humanity. And when empathy is actually present, you become less willing to exploit people, not more willing. Relational health-centered therapy views empathy as essential to well-being, not just in romantic relationships, but in workplaces, families, schools, communities, and systems. Because empathy changes how we treat people. When empathy is present, people stop being objects. They become human beings with histories, feelings, nervous systems, and needs. And when empathy disappears, connection breaks down, and exploitation becomes easier to justify. So practice this. Slow down, especially in moments where it's easier not to care, at work, in conflict, in everyday interactions. Ask yourself, what might this person be experiencing right now? What would this feel like from their perspective? And let that shape how you respond. Because empathy is not weakness, and it isn't toxic. It's one of the most protective forces we have against cruelty. I'm Dr. Lewis Haynes. I'm a licensed clinical psychologist. Please like and follow if you want to learn more about improving well-being and quality of life by fostering healthy relationships.